For the Orange Order, their traditional day out in the Irish Republic is of great importance.
Orangeism seems to be on the increase in Donegal, and we're very pleased with that, and we hope that maybe in another 100 years' time there'll be a service here doing the same thing.
The Rossnala demonstration takes place on the western seaboard of Europe, at the very edge of the continent that was so greatly influenced by the Battle of the Boyne. The influence of the Orange Order doesn't stop at this outpost of Europe. Thousands of miles away across the sea, the Orange Order continues to operate in a very different environment. Toronto, in the language of the North American Indian, it means meeting place. And for so many Ulster Scots, it has been the gateway to Canada and a new life. Situated on the shore of Lake Ontario, the city is the largest in the country.
Sun and cloud, the high only 24, but ahead to Thursday looking much better.
So 400 flows from Finch down to the 401. Westbound 401 busy from the Allen to west of Kiel.
And we have a bunch of new releases. Actually, some good stuff's come out in the last week or so. One final look at what's happening on the streets of Toronto this afternoon.
Westbound is busy from the Jarvis on.
Outside the British Isles, Orangeism has had its strongest base in Canada. At one time, during the 19th century, 1 in 3 of male adults in the Protestant population of Canada held membership. For a long time, political progress in Toronto depended on lodge affiliation. 60 years ago, there were 100,000 members of the Orange Order in Canada. The figure now is around 25,000, still a significant number.
I've had the privilege of travelling across Canada with this honour, visiting the provinces, and I've been certainly overwhelmed by the response that's given to me because of the fact that I am the Imperial, or was elected to the office of Imperial Grand Master.
For the Brownlee family, the Orange Order has been a way of life.
We definitely are the first couple from Canada, and they tell us that probably it has never happened anywhere before, that husband and wife have been Grand Master and Sovereign and Grand Misters at the same time.
Orangeism in Canada can be traced back to 1799. The Grand Lodge of Canada was formed in 1831, among others by Ogle Gowan, the son of a Wexford landlord.
The 300th anniversary, with the information that goes out with it, has certainly awakened and has reawakened the knowledge or a desire to know more about our own history and the history of our origins. And in particular, it gives the Orangemen in Canada some sort of insight into the events that led up to the events of 300 years ago. A little idea of why we exist and why such a revolution was considered necessary in those days.
The city of Toronto has a large population of Italians. A small group of them are in the Orange Order.
The reason why we do have an Orange Lodge is because, as you may know, at the turn of the century here in Toronto, the city was a predominantly Anglo-Saxon Protestant city, and there were Italians here who had become members of the Methodist Church. So the Methodist Church was organized in the city of Toronto, Methodist Italian Church, that is, in 1905. And some of our members had joined an Orange Lodge. 3 of them, in fact, joined an Orange Lodge. And after a year or two, they had decided perhaps that it would be a good idea to form a lodge composed entirely of Italian Canadians.
North America is a vast continent of many ethnic groups. The Indians were there first, and despite many difficult times, still know how to enjoy themselves. At the Tyne-Donega Indian Reserve, about 2 hours' drive from Toronto, the Mohawks are a proud people with a history stretching back centuries. At the end of the 18th century, they had to leave their ancestral valley in New York State after declaring allegiance to the British Crown around the time of the American War of Independence. They are fiercely loyal to the Crown, and some of them served in the First and Second World Wars. That loyalty to the Crown and contact with Orangemen led to the formation of an Orange Lodge in 1843. Mohawk LOL 99 once had 140 members. Now there are only about 15 left, but they still meet regularly in an Orange Hall on the Indian Reserve. There is also a Women's Orange Lodge.
Well, it's special to everybody, you know, that's in the Orange Order. It don't matter where you are, it's especially here, really. It's the whole thing as far as, the, anniversary at the beginning. And we are tied to the Queen, tighter than anybody else, I think, because we were loyal to the Queen in the American Revolution. And so that we've never lost our loyalty to the Queen. And so anything that has to do and honour the Queen, why we're 100% for it.
I really enjoy myself. I get out to all the meetings. And we get around the other lodges and enjoy their company when they come here.
I read a lot of work that King William, adventures that King William had done from the time he started when he left Holland. And that gave me such an interest in that affair. And my father was an Orangeman when he passed on in the 70s. My grandfather was an Orangeman, and he went in when he was 18. He passed away at 92 years old.
There are still many Orange Halls scattered throughout the Canadian countryside, but the story is different along highways of the United States of America. Orangism did reach the US in 1820 and grew rapidly. It has lodges in 11 of the 52 states. In 1990, the biannual meeting of the Supreme Grand Orange Lodge of America was held in the Sunshine State of Florida, although in the month of August, more often than not, rain was the order of the day. After several days of meetings, the delegates relaxed in a typically American fashion with a pool party.
Have a good day tomorrow. Oh, all right. Right. Did you jump?
Like their orange colleagues throughout the world, the tercentenary year provided the opportunity to look again at their history.
Just meeting now here in Florida, which is sort of unusual for us. Normally we meet where one of the jurisdictions would be, either Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, California. This year we're meeting here in Florida where we really don't have any Orange Lodges. So this is a get-together, just an absolute special one, because William of Orange means a lot to us over here. Many of the things that he stood for, we brought along to the United States, and many of them are in our Constitution.
As Orange men and women all over the world commemorate the Battle of the Boyne 300 years ago, the river itself continues to flow steadily through the Irish countryside, giving away few secrets about that famous day in 1690.
One morning fair, as I did stroll down by my sweet Boyne side, the flowers in bloom, the birds did sing, the sun was shining bright. On vines so green I made my way, by rippling waters clear. The smells of summer filled the air, sweet sounds that fill my ears. On bossy vines I did sit down, a rest I wish to take. The sun that shone upon my face, its rested warm my brow. The rippling waters sang to me a haunting lullaby, and into sleep I gently crept to dream of days gone by. July the 1st, a morning clear to armies greeted me. William and James from distant lands in war they did embrace. To Boyne's green vines they made their way to fight for God and crown. The sounds of battle filled the air, my Boyne she flowed like wine. Came screams of pain from dying men, the soil with blood-stained red. As cavalry charged and cannon roared, the sky it rained with lead. But through smoke the flags did fly, the orange and the green. And then at last a cheer we hear, King James has fled the field. King James to Dublin he did ride, and then to France did flee. King William's men had won the day, the Boyne their victory. And still my river gently flows, a tear in Ireland's side. For on that day brave men had died to gain our liberty.
King William's army arrived on the northern banks of the River Boyne on the 30th of June 1690. The battle that followed was brought back to life by the Orange Order at a reenactment near Cookstown, at the birthplace of the Reverend George Walker, Governor of Londonderry during the siege. As the two armies faced each other across the river, William held a council of war. His two most senior generals, Marshal Schomberg and Count Solmes, favoured different plans of action. William listened carefully to their opinions.
I believe that he was a very able tactician and a very masterly general. It had been proven in his earlier years in his homeland as he held the Netherlands together against invaders. Sometimes people have criticised his actions at the Boyne, and they have said that Schomberg suggested a flank attack, Solmes wanted a frontal attack, and William was indecisive and therefore decided to combine the two. I actually believe that he took the best of both plans and used them, and the end result was a successful military victory.
The course of the Battle of the Boyne, and indeed the history of Europe, could have so easily been different. As William carried out a reconnaissance of the Jacobite forces, he was